So if I'm correct, you've just seen the most random compilation of my summer. I didn't feel like making content the whole time. I thought I'd give myself a nice little summer break. My washing machine is making so much noise. I don't know why it's decided to speak up right at this moment. Why? Why? That's okay, we'll move. We'll just move. We're in my living room right now. So I just filmed a bunch of stuff over the summer, different things I've been doing, things I've been enjoying, things I've been reading. It's a whole lot of footage. I hope it was a good time and like kind of fun to watch. I've just come back from my trip to Italy. I think most of the footage you've seen was from the trip to Italy because it was just, I filmed the most when I was there because it was just so beautiful and there were so many things that needed to be captured and I was just like, oh my god, that's gorgeous. And then I'd turn around and I'd be like, that is stunning, and just everything needed to be captured. It was beautiful. But I also had a really good time where I enjoyed myself and I didn't feel like I was working the whole time, you know, and vlogging and reading for YouTube, and I was just like having a good time. So that's wonderful. Hope all of you had the best summertime as well and you really enjoyed yourself. You read a lot of good books. I'm so happy to be filming again though. I'm just very excited to get to work and to do all the fall things and enjoy autumn, because I think, as most of you may know, autumn is one of my favorite seasons. Although I do have to say I kind of love all seasons. I just love like living with the seasons and that everything changes, and it, you know, it always kind of feels like a welcome change when the seasons start shifting. But I do have to say I think autumn just fits me really well as a person because I love sitting inside and reading my little books and just like making my little chai lattes, you know, so I generally have a great time. But today I'm filming this vlog both to sort of make a little video that is like transitioning into autumn, you know, and so I can still show off my cute summer footage that I took. So I can tell you a little bit about the things I read on vacation, tell you about the things I'm reading now, and also to motivate myself to clean my house and unpack my suitcase because it's sitting like over there in my bedroom. And I mean, I came home yesterday night, so that's fine, but I also just really want to get it done today and I have to motivate myself. So you're my motivation. Thank you. Hello. Another thing, I have a market with my shop. Oh, for those of you who don't know, hi. My name's Leora and I talk on here about books, reading, writing, all sorts of things, but mostly things related to reading. And I'm an illustrator as well. I make art and I sell my art in my web shop visit my web shop. But also I sell on markets and stuff, and I really enjoy doing those. And I have a market in 2 days, so I have lots of preparation to do, but I also kind of have to clean my house. It's like, you know how there's like a sort of organization to things, and then like it keeps getting less and less organized as you just live your life, and then there comes this point where you're like, oh my god, I need to clean. And I'm at that point with like everything in my house. So, but first things first, we need to talk about my reading, unpack that suitcase, and then we'll get to prepping for the market. And also my dad is coming to assist me at this art market, so that's adorable. I'm just very excited about my dad, you know, standing behind my little whimsical stall. So we'll see how that goes, but probably very well. I've just done a lot of rambling, so let's now get to talking about some books. So I just wanted to highlight a few books that I've read on vacation, and I thought like I might just talk about a few more during the vlog, like just like a random information about things I've been reading, I guess. So firstly, I picked up The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson on vacation, and I was very excited for this, mainly because the cover is so cute, and also I'm obsessed with Mistborn. It's one of my favorite fantasy series. Still not finished it. I've read book 1 and 2, but I've enjoyed those so much that I feel comfortable, slightly comfortable, calling it my favorite, because it was just so good. One of the best things I've ever read, although I really need to reread it and then actually finish it. So, but then when I found out that this also has time travel in it, I was sold immediately, because I'm obsessed with time travel. I just love when books have time travel. Also, it looks very cozy. It says on the back, #1 Sunday Times bestselling author Brandon Sanderson meshes Jason Bourne and epic fantasy in this captivating adventure that throws an amnesiac wizard into time travel shenanigans, and his only hope of survival lies in recovering his missing memories. I finished this on vacation, and one of my friends tried reading it as well, but she didn't like it, and I had some similar issues. It was not my favorite thing I've read during this vacation. It's a very funny book, and one of my favorite things is when books manage to be funny. The wizard wakes up, he's got no idea where he is, he quickly figures out he's in some sort of medieval situation, and unlike I expected, he's not from our time or from like a past time traveled further back, but he's from the future actually compared to us, so that's very interesting. And then the more and more I read this book, I discovered that it's more sort of sci-fi in fact than it is fantasy. And I know I said there was time travel, so maybe that immediately almost makes it sci-fi, but because he is from the future, there's a lot of sci-fi-esque elements worked into this medieval time that he's trying to survive, because he has like sort of very modern adaptations done to his body. I don't want to like spoil anything, but like I think that's the best I can do. I thought the character was very humoristic. It's funny to read in the first few pages, but then at some point it's just so, it's laid on thickly, so much so that I kind of got annoyed with like how much Brandon Sanderson was trying to be very funny, even though it's still funny. I just felt sometimes it became not so funny because it was too much. Sorry, I just said the word funny so many times. And there was also this bit where he started like speaking modern words to like sort of make the medieval people be like, oh, he's doing a spell, and he'd say like Nintendo, and I'd be like, that's oh. So I didn't really enjoy that, but I did want to keep reading because I was definitely captivated by the whole storyline, and I really enjoyed all of the characters. I was immediately very attached to Sephiwin, who is just the smartest, best person in this entire book. She's better than the main character. The main character kind of has like a little internal struggle going on, and of course he needs to figure out who he is, why he's there. And he goes through like so many motions of thinking like, oh, I'm this person, and then it's like, wait, no, I'm not. And it's like, it's a bit confusing to read, but it remained very captivating. I kept wanting to read on and on and on, and it was a book I could lose myself in fairly easily, even with like things going on around me. So I really enjoyed that. I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't like as good as I was hoping it would be, and it was just not really what I expected. Then I also finally continued in Deborah Levy's memoir. So she has like a sort of 3-part series, which is her memoir, and she writes about very mundane things, but also just like general things of life, like growing up and going through a divorce and having children, and those children leaving your house. She talks about writing. She sort of discusses things with writers who she's not really talking to, but then also writers that she does know personally. It's a very interesting way of writing a memoir. She talks about deeply touching and sometimes very intricate and complicated subjects, but she does it with a flair of humor that I really enjoy. In the first part, she mostly talks about her childhood and growing up, and in this part she talks about like sort of the bit after a divorce and like separating yourself from love and trying to live a different sort of life, and I thought it was very interesting. She also kind of reminisces on her choices though of having children and being in that marriage. She talks a lot about her writing shed as well, and I deeply enjoy the bits about the writing shed and also like her friendship with the woman who owns the shed. Another main character in this book is Deborah Levi's electrical bike. She's very attached to that bike, and I enjoyed it. It's like nonsense but in a really, really good way, and then you suddenly realize it's not nonsense at all. And that's the best I can do explaining this. Listen, if you want very put together book reviews, this is not the place. I enjoyed it so much. I immediately went and bought part 3 when we found an English bookstore in Italy, so I think that really tells you that it was a good time. Okay, now I'm gonna put on my audiobook and get to unpacking that suitcase and doing the laundry and doing all the things that need doing. I'm still kind of in Italy time, which means that I laid in bed until 10 this morning, and then I kind of felt like sitting down in the yard to read, and then I'd only have like dinner at 8:30. But since I'm not actually in Italy anymore, I should probably get to being productive and doing things. But I'm also kind of excited to get back into my life here, and especially to get ready for fall. I have so many cute fall reads I want to read. I feel like almost overwhelmed with the amount of ideas and things that are like sort of brewing in me and that I want to bring to the internet, so I need to kind of like brace myself. Talking about fall reads, the book that I'm currently reading and that I want to finish on audiobook whilst cleaning and doing things is Hexappeal by Kate Johnson. This is so cute. You guys need to get on this if you want to read like a cozy witchy fantasy romantasy thingy. It's more of a rom-com though, I would say. So I'm going to listen to that and do some cleaning, and I'll tell you more about what the book is about later, because I'm kind of tired now from all the talking. Hi, I'm about to take my first sip of pumpkin spice latte of this season, so let's do that together. Okay, here we go. I can feel the autumn spirit entering me. video feels very fun so far to film. It's like a wrap up, but then it's also a reading vlog, so I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are as well. My market went very well, so I'm very relieved because it was definitely a bit of a stressful time, but I sold very well. I also sold a few of my mom's mugs. She makes beautiful ceramics, like lots of beautiful witchy things. Oh, I actually I actually made this in her workshop, but I made it. She didn't make it, as you can see, because it's like nowhere near as beautiful compared to the things she makes. She did like do the glaze, so she painted it. I just did like the bones of it, and you know, she's a little bit ugly, but I love her. It's my new favorite coffee mug. It's just so exciting to come from such a creative family and to be able to do all these things. Oh, and I do have to say, I love traveling, love being on vacation. I especially love being in a house in Italy with all my friends, but I love the coffee I make for myself at home, and I'm just always so happy when I'm back home and I can drink my little coffee and read my little books, you know. So I've had the market, I've done some work in the last few days. My web shop has reopened, so there's lots of orders that need to go out soon. And of course, I've done some reading as well, and I've done lots of audiobooking too. So let's start with that. And yes, I made that into a verb. Audiobooking, it's a word. So I'm listening to Hexappeal. We follow Essie, and she lives in this super old mansion. It's like this witchy mansion, and she lives there with her witch sisters and also her auntie who's dead. She's a ghost. She's like haunting the premises. It's basically how I feel when I wear my vintage nightgown and I walk around my apartment. I'm like haunting my apartment, you know? Same vibes, but then there's an actual witch. So they all live together, they're having a great time. This house is wonderful. It's like this mystical house. It has the practical magic vibes. It's super big. It has all these rooms, and some of them are like time portals and others go into like nature, and there's all sorts of weird things happening in this house. And then we have Josh, or John. Oh my God, no, I'm pretty sure it's Josh. He moves to the UK from America, and his family owns lots of the land, and he discovers that the tenants of Beldam House haven't paid rent in like forever, since like the 17th century. So he goes there to be like, hey guys, pay rent. He's a landlord. So of course, Essie gives him like a tour of the house, and she first thinks he's there to repair something, which is why she's hauling him around. And, you know, all these weird and witchy things happen, and then she discovers that he's actually their landlord, come to collect rent after all these years. And so she puts a spell on him, and the thing is, people that visit that house, they never remember, so they don't remember that they were in that house. At the same time, Essie's having like these visions, so she knows that something is going on. Oh, there's, by the way, also a shape-shifting witch who's non-binary, and they sometimes feel like a man and other times they feel like a woman. And it's very interesting that they put that into a shape-shifting character. And it's also a very fun and cute character that I'm really enjoying. So there's lots of fun characters. I want to put that up front. I really enjoy Essie and Josh and their dynamics, even though he's a landlord. I could never date a landlord. Unless he'd give me a house, then maybe I would. I don't know. They end up getting like entangled in this magical adventure together, and it's kind of a plotless magical adventure because, you know, there's like different little crises happening, but it's like, it feels like there's no bigger overarching thing going on. Blurbs for this book said it was like kind of Encanto meets Charmed, and it definitely has those vibes, so I love that. It also definitely has like the Hocus Pocus vibes, so that's great too. And the next things I'm going to discuss may be considered spoilers. I'm like not going to go into them, so I'm not going to discuss details. I'm just going to go over the big lines, but if you don't want to know anything, I'd skip ahead, let's say like 5 minutes, because I talk a lot. Maybe 4, I don't know. Anyway, the bit where I've arrived now in the book, it's been clear the whole time that these two are going to end up together, and I mean, it's a witchy rom-com, so I'm totally okay with that. I'm having a good time. They've all of a sudden gone and time traveled. And as you know, I think I've literally discussed it earlier on in this video, I love time travel, but this was so unexpected, and it shouldn't have been because there's literally a time portal in the house. I just didn't see it coming because lots of the time, these books sort of end up being a contemporary with some mixed magic going on in between the lines, you know, and it's fun, but it's like not really fantasy. Time travel is such a complicated thing to do in a book, and there's so many things that have to line up just right, you know, and that's immediately my gripe with this as well. Like on a surface level, I'm having a great time because I love when characters get stuck in like a different time period and they don't know what's going on, and like that's everything that's happening right now, and it's put them in very funny situations that are a great time to read. But like on a logical level, like on a world building level, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but the vibes are vibing, you know? And if the vibes are vibing, I'm vibing. So to be fair, I'm kind of delighted that there's time travel now. I'm having a good time with this book. I'm hoping to finish listening to it today or tomorrow. I have some shop work to do, so hopefully I can audiobook whilst I'm working on things. Those are my reading plans when it comes to this audiobook. I'm so excited to read so many more weird witchy books this winter and fall time. And then I want to discuss one book that I've read on vacation that I've just absolutely adored. I gave this 5 stars. It was so good. I need everybody to know about this book. This is probably not going to be the last time I'm going to be discussing this in a video because this was amazing. It was so cute. Okay, so there's like a lot of typical things that I really enjoy in books. And like one of those things is time travel, another is witchy reads, and then another thing is ghosts. If there's ghosts, you need to sign me up. I will read it. Give the book to me. Love it. And so this is a ghostly rom-com and it's absolutely perfect for the fall months. So if you're looking for anything to read in the upcoming months and you want to get into the fall vibes, I highly recommend this. I shared this book a few times when I was reading it on vacation and I got so many DMs of you guys saying like it's such a unique look on grief and love. And you're so right. It definitely is. It's a wonderful story about growing up, dealing with your family, dealing with yourself, dealing with grief, dealing with difficult losses, and coming to terms with life the way it is, and still being able to see the beauty and be yourself. This book perfectly encapsulated like a loving, warm, autumnal feel, and it's so good. So we follow Florence Day. She's a ghostwriter, haha, because this book is about ghosts, and she can also see ghosts. She's a ghostwriter for a very popular romance author. She writes all her books, nobody knows, and then one day she gets a new editor and this editor doesn't know that she's the ghostwriter. They think she's her assistant. This editor is Benji Endor and he's incredibly hot, and immediately Florence is like, why do you have to be so sexy and then also so mean to me? So she's having a struggle. Florence comes from this very big eccentric family and they have a funeral home, but she's the only one that can see ghosts together with her father. So she has a very special bond with her father. Listen, me and my dad, we are so close. He's like my best friend. I don't know. I just love my dad. You know, we have a great relationship and you know, it's just so fun to see like a good father-daughter relationship in a book. So I really enjoyed that. And Florence is kind of struggling with her breakup. She's been through a horrible breakup. Honestly, I wanted to punch her ex like 80% of the time. He's the most insufferable character I've ever read. And Florence is just trying to come to grips with her life, her breakup, and her insufferable crush on Benji Ender. Then tragedy strikes and she has to head home to the funeral home. She hasn't been there in forever. She gets a ghost at her front door and it's the ghost of her editor, Benji Ender. And that's where our story starts because they have to like sort of figure out together why he's haunting her. And I was so skeptic going into this because I was like, okay, but and then she's in love with a ghost and what's she gonna do then? You know, I don't know how that's gonna go. But it was so good. Oh my God. Guys, pick it up. It's so warm. It's like a warm autumnal hug with a little ghost in it as well. And then these two are some more books that I'm reading right now. So we've got the 3rd book in the Living Autobiography series. So I've been reading this slowly but steadily in the last week. It's Deborah Levi's visions on owning a home, but also building a home within yourself and the homes of her friends and what does a home say about you. And it's like, it's about homes, but it's about like a lot bigger things at the same time. She's having lots of sort of internal discussions with bits of writing that she's read from other famous authors, which is my favorite thing about these books. She does it all the time and it's just really nice to read because you get like so many ideas in a very funny format. At the same time, it's like the little mundane things that she makes really special with her writing, and it's beautiful. It's like having a thinking spiral, but in a good way. And then another book that I'm reading is The Devil Makes Three by Tori Bovalino, which is a dark academia read. I started this before I went on vacation and I kind of put it down because I wasn't feeling it. But then now, recently I've been watching the Winx saga on Netflix and it's like not good, but I'm still enjoying it. And then I wanted to read something that also had like magical dark academia school elements. I also still need to read the 2nd book in the 9th House series, but I didn't want to reread the 1st book, so I was like, wait, I already started a dark academia, let me just finish that and then I'll see what the mood is after that. So this is about Tess and Elliot, and they stumble upon this like secret passageway below their school. Elliot is a wizard, Tess is a regular girl. She's at that school because she wants her sister to be able to get a good education, and she herself actually plays the violin or the cello. She plays something. I kind of forgot what. I'm so sorry. She's really good. She's like a prodigy, so they wanted her at school, and she actually just wanted her sister to go there. So she went there so her sister could go there. She was like, fine, I'll go, but it's a package deal. So she's actually sort of against her will at this particular school. Anyway, they are in these dark passageways, these secret halls beneath the school, and then they find a really old book. They get the book and they accidentally release an ancient spirit or like a demon or the devil. I'm not sure. Like at this point where I'm at in this book, it's unclear what they've released into the world exactly. But yeah, that's what happens. It's been a wild ride so far. These two really dislike each other, but I have a feeling there's romance in the air. So it's a fun read so far. I had some difficulty getting into it, but at the point where I am now, and especially with like the Winx saga fresh in my mind, I feel like my brain now has like lots of imagery and like visuals to make this look really good in my head. I know that maybe sounds really weird. Does anybody else have this, where you've seen like a really good movie or something that has stunning visuals, and then when you read a book, you kind of paste those on there, like the visuals? Because, okay, look, the Winx series, like the television series made for Netflix, is not really good, but it does have some really pretty like locations here and there, and I feel like those locations have kind of imprinted onto this book now for me, so that's why I've gotten into it more quicker now. But it's also now at this point where it's getting really exciting, because I think they're figuring out that they've released something into the world that was better just down there in the cellar. So that was my very chaotic reading update. I am enjoying doing this like half wrap up, half reading vlog thingy. I finished my book. I'm really excited. It was mostly just such a fun witchy read, which is exactly what I needed right now. As you can see, I've gone into full autumn mode right now. I've got my little pumpkin earrings on. They are so cute. These were made by Willow's World. She's so cool. I'll tag her down below. Like, I'll put her Instagram in the description. I'm just very excited for it to be autumn again, and I've really enjoyed my little walks in the park, like the leaves crisping. I've made some chai this morning for all my friends, and I added like a little pumpkin spice into it, and then I cycled around dropping off like little jars of pumpkin spice chai, so that was wonderful. And this evening I'm going to make some pumpkin dinner for a friend as well, so I'm just really excited. I'm really enjoying like all my homebody activities. Like I said in the other clip, the book was kind of taking a wild turn in terms of plot. At the same time, it was like a fun twist for the third act conflict, because a lot of times, especially when it's a rom-com, the third act conflict is like a miscommunication between the two lovers, and it's like the more romance you read, or like the more romantasy or like witchy rom-coms you read, the more you just get tired of it because you've read it 10 times already. And like, I love the vibes of these books, but it's fun if they put like a different twist on it. So lots of elements I enjoyed, mostly a lot of characters I really loved. Such a fun, humorous book, you know, just a great time. But if you're looking for like a grand fantasy plot that makes sense, then don't pick this up because this is not that. But nonetheless, a really fun read. I've not made any noticeable progress in Deborah Levi's third book in the Living Autobiography series, so there's nothing really to discuss on that. But I do want to say I'm just really excited to be uploading again. I'm so sorry I've been so on and off with YouTube. Anyway, I'm very excited that you guys are all here watching my video. Hope you have a wonderful autumn, and I hope you have a wonderful week and day, and I hope you enjoyed watching me sort of transition from summer into the fall time. So yeah. Comment some nice autumnal emojis down below. It's finally time for the autumnal emojis to come back out. Let me know what you're most excited for this autumn, like any special reading you're gonna do, any fun trips planned. I have a pumpkin day planned, so majorly excited for that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye!